there, health enthusiasts! You're about to dive into a topic that's shaping up to be a major conversation. President Trump's plan to impose 100% tariffs on foreign brand name drugs starting October 1st, 2025. This isn't just a tax. It's a potential game changer for prescription drug prices, patient access, and the future of pharmaceutical manufacturing. But here's the twist. Trump's new drug tariffs could spark a major debate over who bears the cost. And this is the part most people miss. The question of whether these tariffs will actually protect Americans from rising drug prices or just shift the burden to other players in the healthcare ecosystem. Let's unpack the 5 biggest questions experts are asking now. 1. Which drugs will be affected? Trump's post doesn't clarify if companies with existing U.S. plants would be exempt or if the exemption would apply to all their products or just the ones made in the U.S. Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly, makers of weight loss drugs Wegovy and Zepbound, have already announced plans to invest in U.S. manufacturing, but it's unclear if that investment will qualify for a tax break. Meanwhile, Lilly's $6.5 billion facility in Houston, which will produce Zepbound and Mounjaro, and Novo Nordisk's $4.1 billion plant in North Carolina are already in the works. But what about the rest of the world? Many popular brand name drugs are made overseas, especially in Europe and Asia. Experts warn that the EU and Japan already have trade agreements covering pharmaceuticals, so the new tariff might not override those deals. 2. Will patients see price hikes? Only 10% of prescriptions in the U.S. are for brand name drugs, with generics being the main players. These cheaper alternatives won't be hit by tariffs. But if companies get exemptions, they might choose to pass on the costs to patients. Dr. Aaron Kesselheim, a Harvard professor, says tariffs are essentially taxes on patients, and drug makers may have to hike prices or pass the costs to pharmacies. However, some companies might avoid this, and even the 15% EU tariffs haven't caused significant price increases for U.S. patients yet. A 100% tariff would be far more expensive, though. 3. Could insurers absorb the cost? Pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs, and insurers might try to negotiate with drug makers or absorb the costs, but it's more likely they'll pass the burden to patients. If that happens, it could mean higher copays or out-of-pocket expenses. Even patients with government health programs like Medicare, Medicaid, or VA could face price hikes as the government is the largest purchaser of prescription drugs. 4. Will tariffs spur more U.S. manufacturing? Experts say it's unlikely. Building a plant is a complex, costly process that requires years of planning and multiple regulatory approvals. By the time new facilities are built, Trump might already be out of office. Conti estimates it could take 2 to 5 years and cost millions, depending on the type of drug. Even investing in an existing plant isn't quick. Retooling a factory could take 18 to 36 months. 5. What about shortages? If Trump focuses solely on brand name drugs, shortages might be avoided, as profits from these drugs are massive. But smaller companies producing niche branded medications may struggle with the extra costs. If tariffs extend to generics, the risk of shortages becomes much greater. Generic drugs are typically sold at close to their production cost, making it harder for companies to justify building new facilities. They might have to shut down or reduce operations. So here's the catch. While Trump's tariffs aim to raise drug prices, the real question is whether they'll ultimately hurt patients or just shift the financial burden. And this is the part most people miss. The answer depends on who gets to decide. Will the tariffs lead to more American manufacturing, or will they just delay it? Your thoughts? Comment below.